Alright, so welcome to the Pokemon Crystal Legacy tier list. Pokemon Crystal Legacy is a ROM hack that sought to fix a lot of the problems with Generation 2. In doing so, we made all Pokemon available, we improved a lot of Pokemon stats, and gave pretty much everything an improved move pool. So this is going to be very different from base Crystal, and we are going to start things off with the first starter, Meganium. So this tier list is basically looking at how good is this Pokemon for how many fights, and how good is it within those fights. You get Meganium at the start of the game, so it has perfect availability, and Meganium is very good now. It's got access to Leech Seed, it's got access to Giga Drain, but it is still a grass type in Johto, which means best I can really do is A tier. A tier is for Pokemon that completely hold their own. They are great Pokemon, but they don't quite carry. Typhlosion is our second starter, and I think also A tier. It's just a good, fast fire type that also gets Thunder Punch. Very good for the early game. Honestly, quite consistent all the way out. I would say this is top of A, not quite S. And our last starter is going to be Feraligatr. Feraligatr gets Surf, it gets Ice Punch, it gets Bite, and later Crunch. Its biggest problem is that there are better water types. So if you pick Feraligatr, you're not getting one of the other two, which are just more unique. Still just very consistently good. The next time we're gonna go Raticate, another early Gen 2 encounter, right? We're gonna go through the early encounters and then kind of like just Dex order. Raticate is not a low use Pokemon. High attack, fast, stab damage in the early game, I think makes it situationally good. It's great for Morty. It's great for just any ghost type. Would I say it's consistently good though? I don't think I would. I don't think I really want to Raticate for most of the Elite Four. So I would say situationally good for the early game, but it does fall off just a little bit. Next up is Pidgeot, which has seen huge improvements. Earlier Gust, extreme speed at 36. Also can't forget improved Sky Attack makes me want to say A tier. Just a very consistently good Pokemon. Honestly, I think I would say better than Feraligatr. So Furret is actually quite similar to Raticate, but it's a little more niche. Furret is weird because it gets an early evolution, it gets access to all the punches, it gets early thief, it gets early headbutt, but it's so good in the early game. It's almost top of C, but I'm gonna call it low B. Noctowl gets Hypnosis, and that's really it, so low use. Pharaoh. So Pharaoh is very start of the game. It's fast, high attack. Honestly, Pharaoh can hold its own through the 8 badges of Johto. I would say that's more than situational. I would say low A. Now, okay, so Golem, Geodude is available at the start of the game. Great stab moves. Good through the entire game. Easy S tier. You know, A is hold its own. S goes above and beyond that to carry some of the less good Pokemon on your team that are more B, C tier. Speaking of which, Beedrill is C tier. It's got niche early game use. It does get Sword Stance, but its stats are just not amazing. Butterfree, I would say, is better simply because of Sleep Powder. I still think it's probably going to be a C tier Pokemon. Next up is Ledian. People are always asking me buff Ledian, buff Ledian. Ledian is good. You have Reflect, you have Light Screen. You can use Ledian, set up a screen, Baton Pass Agility into a slow Pokemon like Scizor, like Rhydon, Golem. Dude, honestly, really good support Pokemon. Ariados, on the other hand, Ariados, it's okay. I think that's a very B tier Pokemon. Unknown, used to be F tier. We gave it Hidden Power. That makes it useful in exactly 2 fights, Falkner and Bugsy. So that would be low use. Crobat. Okay, so Zubat is early use. Now it gets Gust. Leech Life is a little bit better. It has Bite. You can get Crobat pretty consistently at level 23. 3-4 times resistances, high speed, great attacking moves now. Easy S tier. Poliwrath is a water type, but it's special because it also is a fighting type. Don't sleep on Poliwrath, but its stats are unchanged and they're very mid. To me, this is definitely an A tier Pokemon. Arbok, it gets Substitute, 90% Glare, not the best attacker. That's a B tier. Okay, Raichu is good. Pichu has great early game utility for nerfing strong Pokemon. You can grind friendship to get an early Pikachu. You can get a free evolution stone for a Raichu after the 3rd gym. Fast, Thunderbolt. We're gonna go easy A tier. Sandslash is one of the ground types of Gen 2. Ground type is good, however, B tier. Nidoqueen has got great moves, pretty early accessibility. That's an A. Nidoking is super similar, but slightly better. Clefable. Okay, so Clefable gets all 3 elemental punches. It gets Encore. So if you know how to use it, I think it's S tier. I think if you know how to use it, it is S tier. But I think for most people, they're not going to use it to the highest level of efficiency. So I would actually say high A. Ninetales is another good fire type. It now gets Shadow Ball to give it secondary coverage. I got to agree with Playtester Arrow. It is A tier. We're going to zoom this bad boy out because this is going to get real chunky pretty quick. Wigglytuff has high HP, but is kind of mid. Vileplume is a solid grass type. Parasect is really niche in the fact that it gets Spore, which is 100% accuracy sleep move. Unfortunately, it's just still too slow for it to really be that useful. But it has a use. Venomoth, I would say Sleep Powder, improved move, improved stats. That's a B tier. Dude, I am out here actually checking the document. Diglett is not in Johto. Hey guys, this is post-production Pat here. I made a very silly mistake and forgot that we put Diglett in Union Cave. So seeing as it's a fast ground sweeper, I would definitely put it in A tier, but you won't see it there in this video because I'm silly. Persian is fast. It's fast and it has good attack. Golduck has good moves now. It's got Psychic, it's got Cross Chop, it's got Surf. That to me is gonna be similar as for Alligator. Primeape. So fastest fighting type. Unfortunately, Cross Chop is only 80% accurate. If it had a really high power, 100% accuracy move, I would say S tier because it can obliterate stuff, but it's just not perfectly consistent. Arcanine is really fast. It has amazing, almost legendary stats. Even without Thunder Punch, it is probably better than Typhlosion. Okay, Victory Bell. One of the actually best Pokemon in the game now. Sleep Powder combined with great stats, great moveset, very consistent Pokemon. Tentacruel is also amazing. Okay, so great availability. Surf, Sludge Bomb, Ice Beam. Amazing special defense. Oh man, I like Tentacruel a lot. I'm gonna say top of A. Rapidash, not the best consistency, not the best moves. It is fast. We'll say lower side of A. We're doing the slow boys together. Insane Bulk, Surf, Psychic Stab. That's an S tier. Slowking, also S tier. Did I mention Curse? Did I mention Amnesia? These guys are honestly just they're busted. They're some of the best Pokemon in the game. Honestly, I'm gonna go something like that, I guess. Actually, Slowking you can get Slowking earlier, so I will put it ahead. Magneton, great electric user. We love Steel type. Hard hitting, I would say probably a little slow, so top of A. Dodrio is really just the same as Pharaoh. The stick makes Farfetch'd okay, but it's very low reason to use it. Dugong is bad Lapras. Yeah. Muck is quite good. I would say A. Cloyster has high defense, kind of bad everything else. So I would call it B tier. I prefer Dugong, but it's ice moves, water moves, it's okay. Hypno gets all the punches, is a bulky kind of Gardevoir, but not good Gardevoir. It basically knock off slow Alakazam. Kingler has a really high attack, but is really slow. So yeah, it's just a really high attacking water type, which is weird. Electrode is great. It's fast, it can set screens, it can set Rain Dance. I like it a lot, and it's a guaranteed encounter after the 4th badge. Exeggutor has great stats, but it just has so many weaknesses, and it's slow. I will still go bottom of A for its stats. Marowak gets basically Earthquake at level 26. So it's just a ground type though. It's defensive, but I go top of B. Next up are the Hitmons, who are all just so B tier. They're just all so okay. I don't know, man. They're, Lickitung is... Why would you ever use Lickitung? I honestly hate this Pokemon so much. It is so stupid. I am going to put Lickitung as our first F tier. It's a late Johto encounter. It's just not better than any normal type. It is so bad, and we tried, and it's just bad, dude. Coughing is really good. Feels similar to Muck. I would say Muck is better. Rhydon. Get it at Mount Mortar now. 130 attack, 120 defense, Earthquake, Rock Slide. Not quite Golem, but yeah, it's S tier. Blissey is really stupid, but it is pretty good, so we'll go A. Tangela, just, there is not much reason to use Tangela, but it does get Sleep Powder. Kangaskong is a fat B tier. Next up is Seaking, who is really good now due to knowing Mega Horn and Drill Peck and just some niche moves, but it still doesn't have the best stats. I'm gonna put it with the water boys. Something like there. Starmie gets Thunderbolt, gets Ice Beam, gets Surf, gets Psychic, probably here. Starmie is really good. Mr. Mime, Baton Pass is always great. Late availability in Blackthorn, good stats. I would put it... It's probably somewhere in A. Jinx is a high damage, not too slow, great Pokemon. I'm gonna go high A for Jinx. Electabuzz is honestly even better. It's got punches, it's got speed, it's got attack, it's got late availability, but you can get it through the egg, so it's good. Magmar also is... Oh, dude, Magmar's got a great moveset. Honestly, like Psychic, Fire Punch, earlier accessibility. Arrow actually has it right behind Typhlosion, and I'm gonna have to agree. Pinsir has insanely high attack. It gets Mega Horn now. It gets fighting move. It's really good. Probably S tier. Tauros is boring, but it does Tauros very well, so I'll put it at bottom of A. Oh, Gyarados. Amazing accessibility, great bulk, great stats. Learns Fly now. We're going high S. Lapras is good availability. I don't love it. Playtesters put it kind of with the rest of the water types, and I kind of agree. It's good, but not great. Ditto is kind of a situational boy. You're using this to get egg moves and breed, so it's almost just not fair to put it anywhere, but Ditto will make your other Pokemon better, and that is useful. Vaporeon is also A tier, but Vaporeon feels like more Tentacruel area. Great HP, Ice Beam, Surf, it's very solid. Jolteon is really fast, very strong. Man, if Electrode and Magneton are this high, Jolteon is better. We'll clear this up in a sec. Flareon is also very good, but not as good as the other two still. There. Amistar is not very good, and yeah. Kabutops gets Swords Dance, has better attack. That's definitely an A. Okay, Alakazam. Alakazam is early accessibility, highest special attack outside of Mewtwo, second highest speed, Thunder Punch, Psychic. Is Alakazam a hard carry? Yes, Alakazam is going to be our first hard carry of the game. Next up is Machamp, also very early. One of the highest attack stats in the game. Great moves. Not Alakazam. Not Golem. I think it's still S tier though. Kind of here. I think I like Earthquake more, so yeah, I'm gonna go there. Okay, and next we have Gengar. Okay, so Gengar is probably the best Pokemon in the game. You get it before the first gym. It has Sleep, it has Shadow Ball, also Thunder Punch, also Thunderbolt, and basically the exact same stats as Alakazam, but just a little less frail. It is a god tier, like almost its own tier. It's really that good. Aerodactyl, actually, funny enough, is... Some people actually argue Aerodactyl is more broken, but you only get it after the 7th gym. So you sweep with it once you get it, but it's not quite as early. I still think I would rather run Aerodactyl than Alakazam, though. Earthquake, Rock Slide, Wing Attack, Aerodactyl is just broken. Snorlax is... If you got the same time as Aerodactyl, it would be hard carry, but because it's a little bit later, we're gonna go S tier. Now, Dragonite is a weird one because you don't really get its great stats until the Elite Four. If you're theoretically level capping, you only have it for Lance and On, which kind of makes it the same as Snorlax, except it's not as good as Snorlax. Our main playtester actually put it at the top of A, and I think I would agree with that. It's great when you have it, but you don't have it for as long as you want it. Also, Dragon type is unfortunately not physical. Next up, we have legendaries. Okay, so these are all going to go in the legendary tier. They have very bad accessibility, and a lot of people don't like to use legendaries. Zapdos is amazing. Articuno is really good, and Moltres is pretty good. Mewtwo is the best Pokemon in the game. Mew is up there, but you don't get them till after the game is over. Right, so that is Kanto plus the starters. Getting into Johto, we start with Lantern, who to me is top of A. Man, Lantern's good. It comes a little late, but Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Surf. Bulk. Bro, I don't know. I might even bump Lantern up past some of the fire types. It's good, man. It's really good. Is it S tier? Dude, I'm gonna put Lantern bottom of S. I think it is fantastic. Togetic is an early Pokemon. You could take advantage of some early decent stats. It gets return. It falls off. So I would say top of situational. Xatu is pretty good. Gonna go A. Ampharos is very early, very strong, but kind of slow. I do like that it gets Fire Punch though. See, Ampharos is an early Electabuzz, but it's slow. Kind of just depends, do you value speed or earlier? And I kind of gotta go the fact that it's early. Blossom is just not near as good as Vileplume. Bottom of A. Azumarill has really no reason to be used, but it does get Surf. Sudowoodo's good when you get it, but it kind of falls off, so B. Politoed is like just kind of an all-rounder decent. Middle of A. Jumpluff is... Playtester Arrow actually ranks Jumpluff in the same spot as Victreebel, which is up here. Fast Sleep Powder. It's that good. I kind of have to agree. Apom is just bad. Apom is not very good. Sunflora has even better special attack, but is not very good. Yanma is discount Scyther, and that's actually not bad. So top of B. Quagsire, early encounter, Surf, Earthquake, only weak to grass. Not the best stats, but that is gonna give us a bit of an A tier vibe. Murkrow, honestly, Murkrow packs a punch now, but it's still kind of frail. I like Murkrow more than Pharaoh and Dodrio, and I like it more, I bet about there. Mischievous is rated S tier by Arrow. For me, I don't know if I'm missing something, but Mischievous doesn't feel that good to me. I don't know. I might be missing something, but I don't love Mischievous. Wobbuffet is honestly, I put Wobbuffet in like the legendary tier. It's not a legendary. It's just so stupid. Like, people just don't use Wobbuffet because it's such a dumb Pokemon to use. It's so broken. But if we were honestly ranking it, it would probably be like somewhere in S tier. Girafarig. Ghost, normal type is really good. Plus Agility Baton Pass. If Ledian Agility Baton Pass is A tier, I kind of have to put, it's so good, but I don't know if I can put it in S tier. Top of A is what I say for that guy. The reason being is that you don't always need Agility Baton Pass. Like, if you just have a team of fast Pokemon, it's not that monumental, but it is a way better Agility Baton Pass user than Ledian. Fortress is freaking awful, dude, and it's just a tragic Pokemon. There's nothing you can do for this guy. Dunsparce is actually deserving of situational. It is really good in the early game. It just falls off super hard, but it's definitely better than like Unknown. Put it like there. Gligar is not bad. Gligar is good. I want to put it with the purple guys. Scramble is just kind of meh despite good stats. Quillfish is good now. It's like bad bad Tentacruel, so we'll put it there. Ursaring is early and it's strong. I'd put it about there. Also, quick little fix here, I think. Flareon's a bit slow. I'm gonna put it down with Rapidash. Oh, next up is Magcargo. We gave Magcargo everything we could have possibly given it. It just has amazing moves, but its type and its speed just crush it. You can use it and it will be okay, but a consistent underperformer for sure. Piloswine has seen some improvements to stats. It's seen improvements to moves. I do like Piloswine a lot now. I'd put it fairly, like, I mean, Earthquake, Blizzard, Ice Beam, it's pretty good. Corsola is not great. Auxiliary is also kind of like bad water type energy. Delibird was buffed, but it is actually going to be our second F tier. Mantine is a special wall, but there's just no reason to use it over a lot of the good water types. Donphan is very bulky. It's got Earthquake. That is A tier potential. You also get it pretty early. It's not as good as Piloswine. It is probably there. Smeargle is very situational. Let's say Smeargle is very situational. Actually, I gotta fix this B tier. It's a little weird. That is more realistic. But ladies and gentlemen, we've now made it to the heavy hitters of Johto. Starting with Skarmory, very useful. Very useful. I wouldn't say it is S tier. I guess it's probably up there with the good birds. Houndoom. Oh boy. Okay, so you get Houndoom before the first gym. It is these other two really good fire types, but it gets dark. So that means immunity to psychic. It literally just learns the moves you want it to. It's just bite, ember, flame wheel, flamethrower, crunch. Great stats. It just incinerates everything. Oh my god, it's so good. It doesn't quite dominate like Aerodactyl, but god damn, is Houndoom good. Heracross is also very early accessibility, and you get it fully evolved. Crazy high attack, crazy good moves. Actually, that is perfect. Sneasel is good now. Kind of feels like an ice type Murkrow. Miltank feels like a Tauros kind of. Porygon 2. So no Porygon 2 until after the 7th gym. I know our playtester Arrow loves it, but that kind of hurts it for me. With its burn set, it's like one of the best E4 Pokemon. I will be influenced, and I will put it pretty high up in S. Okay, Scyther. You can't talk about Scizor without talking about Scyther, which is why we waited. So in version 1.0 of Legacy, Scyther got Swords Dance at 48, which meant you had a really fast Swords Dance user consistently for the Elite Four. Scyther is the fast one, whereas Scizor is the tanky one. So now Scyther gets its good power-up move, which is Swords Dance at 54, whereas Scizor wants agility, so it gets that at 54. Because of this, Scizor is actually better than Scyther now. Personally, I think it's top of S. Most people are going to get Scizor after the 7th gym. Scyther is still very good, but because you don't have Swords Dance until basically after the E4, I think I would probably put it bottom of S. It's still a very good Pokemon. It hits crazy hard. It's crazy fast. Bug type is good now with Twin Needle. Yeah, I would say S. Okay, so Onix turns into Steelix. Onix is the best Pokemon for the first 3 gyms. Steelix definitely holds up pretty well. Stab, Earthquake, Stab, Iron Tail, great defense. I think Steelix and Onix make a S tier placement. Umbreon. Okay, Umbreon learns Curse. Really good. It's bulky enough to really take advantage of it. Honestly, I would just put it with our other Curse users. I think it's not as good as the other two, but it's really good. Espeon. Okay, crazy. Because Espeon basically has the same stat spread as Alakazam, but you get it later. It doesn't get electric moves, and it's just not quite as min-maxed. Espeon, is it S tier? I'm gonna put it with my boy Jolteon. So we've got Kingdra, the Johto legendaries, and then we're gonna finish with the Kanto starters. We've got Kingdra. Definitely S tier. Definitely S tier. You get Kingdra after Gym 7. You get Ice Beam. You get Surf. You get Dragon moves. Crazy tanky. Its only weakness in this game is Dragon. Is it a hard carry though? I don't think it's a hard carry. I think it is top of S. It's a little bit later. and it just doesn't quite carry the team. It's amazing. It is not this tier. Now we have the dogs, which I would put, I mean, we're just ranking legendaries on how good they are. No availability stuff. Raikou would be S tier, Suicune would be S tier, Entei would probably be A tier. Kind of like this, probably. Oh, Tyranitar. Tyranitar is better than Dragonite because Dark is now physical. It gets Earthquake, it gets Rock Slide, it gets Crunch. It has so many options for a 4th coverage move. Fire Punch, Iron Tail. You can even teach this thing Curse, which is pretty crazy. Even though it's a late Pokemon, kind of feels like a Snorlax to me. So, no, the one thing I would say is Larvitar is early Larvitar is better than Dratini. So I would say pretty good Pokemon. It's a pretty good Pokemon. Okay, I never used these legendaries. Lugia is good. Ho-Oh is weird. Celebi is one of the earliest legendaries and it's got great moves, so it actually would be very high. I would probably, Grass Psychic is weird, but I would probably put it like, right, Ho-Oh is weird because it has 130 attack, but I'm kind of underrating these guys. I mean, they're so good. Not as good as these 3 in my opinion. Cool. Okay. There's your legendaries. All right, and we're gonna finish this with the Gen 1 starters. The reason I've waited to finish with these guys is they all get a special move at level 50. We wanted to make them kind of special in Gen 2. So Venusaur gets Ancient Power at 50, which gives its coverage against bugs, flyers, and ice types. Makes it very cool. It's got late availability before the Elite Four. Feels a lot like Pagadium, but with worse availability. So I would probably put it a little bit down here. Blastoise gets Ice Beam, which is not amazing for it, but it's just got very solid stats, very nice diverse moveset. Feels a lot like Feraligatr, but a little bit later. We'll just put it with the water, the solid water gang. Charizard is definitely the best starter of the 3. It gets Outrage, which takes advantage of its nice physical attack. It is really good, but again, it's kind of a later pick. So I would put it kind of high-ish A. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have our final tier list. Top 5 Pokemon are Kingdra, Alakazam, Houndoom, Aerodactyl, and Gengar.